Welcome Mr. Venkateshwara Rao Potana to the Building Bridges Project Program.
I understand you have significant experience in working and reaching out to students across the universities and campuses. Please tell us what led you to work amongst the students.
When I came to Christ in 1993, I felt the need to reach out the students, since from day one of my coming to Christian faith, I started teaching, preaching, interacting and communicating this truth of Christ to the university students.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And what makes you reach out to the students amongst all?
Students are the migrant communities, because most of the Indian students, they migrate from the villages to the towns and from towns to the cities. When they migrate, they are away from all these sociological boundaries.
Right.
They have freedom to think, they have freedom to accept, because they are not monitored or controlled by their own society or the parents or the relatives.
Yeah.
Most of the times, even though people have a love towards Christ, the sociological boundaries and the sociological pressures make them not to come to Christian faith. But whereas in the students, since they migrate from their own family and the village and the towns to other places, they have freedom to think. And even if they accept Christian faith, there are no sociological pressures.
Oh, I see.
It makes them easy to come to Christian faith.
Yeah.
And also they are very positive to the gospel, because there are so much pressures. When we present the truth to them, they give time to think and they come to Christian faith. That's why I strongly believe and I have experienced students are the best group to reach, especially the migrant students.
And what are some of the internal and external issues and hindrances that you face?
Most of the times Christian ministers, they fail to understand these internal struggles. We pressurize them to accept the truth without giving time. The students' internal struggles are, especially one is related to their own career, and the secondly, it's related to their own emotions. Mostly the students are migrant communities.
Right.
From India, they migrate to the other countries, and especially within India, from rural, they migrate to the urban, because the education we find only in the urban setup. They come across through the internal struggles like loneliness, the frustration, depression. These are the existential struggles which are very real among the university students. And there are external struggles like students who don't know Christ, they have a different struggles. Like one is a casteism. And especially these high caste students, when they come to Christian faith, they have to undergo a kind of humiliation. When they go to home, the parents, their relatives, everybody look at them as an untouchable, because you have embarrassed an untouchable people's religion.
Oh my.
And then number two, some of the students, they will not get support from the parents, because they betrayed their own religion.
Right.
And especially in the girl students' lives, the major struggle is with the life partner. When they come to Christian faith, the pastors and the Christian workers, we give a lot of assurance saying that Jesus will take care of everything.
Right.
In an abstract level, saying that kind of statements is good, but we need to journey with them. We need to help them throughout their life journey. It is not an easy. They need to find life partner within their own caste, or else finding a life partner within other caste. Here comes, especially there are two ways they are betrayed. One is they are rejected by their own community.
Right.
And then the Christian community look at them suspicious. And they say, you are still following the Hindu customs.
That's not done.
For example, like having ornaments, having some kind of Hindu way of appearance, having a tikka or maybe flowers, way of wearing different dresses. The Christian community look at them suspicious, saying that you are still holding on the Hindu kind of cultural baggages.
Right.
Whereas their own parents, their relatives, their own community look at them in a betrayal context, saying that you fellow have betrayed our own culture and the context. So here is a struggle within their own inner struggles. The acceptance, the dignity, the respect is the basic struggle for the Hindu converts. These are internal struggles, the reality, the struggle, the pain, the anxiety. Here comes a great challenge. We need to understand them, and we need to create a space for them in our ministry. It's not that extracting them from their own family, but rather going to their places, talking to their parents, and then allowing them to be followers of Christ within their own community, within their own cultural significance. For example, in my case, when I came to Christ in 1993, a lot of my friends, they were so suspicious. They said, don't go to home, don't go to that festival, this festival, because they were so suspicious I may go back to my own faith. Because when I go to festival back at home, they will offer something that is offered to the idol, and I need to be one among them with the religious festivals. But I committed myself saying that though my parents rejected me, though my parents are not paying my fees, though parents say that I betrayed their own culture, I took it as a challenge to show them that Christ has a significance to any religion, any context, to any family. So I took time and I started visiting my family when there is a festival, when there is a marriage to my cousins or any social gathering, I never missed. Because I have never missed any social gathering, that gave an opportunity for me to interact with my own community, with my own friends and relatives, and sitting with my parents, and they could observe me, the change that happened to me. Then it helped them to understand that I have not really changed, only my convictions about the faith have changed. And today I can look back and be thankful to God, because I reconnected with my family. My all family members, they accepted Christian faith. This may not happen with all other friends who come from Hindu background. Mostly the churches and the pastors, sometimes we Christian evangelists, we are biased of the Hindu faith and the culture and the context. So we are over enthusiastic, and then we wanted to protect this newcomer, and then with our enthusiasm, with our protective mindset, we will not allow them to mingle with the family. As a result, we are hindering the kingdom of God that needs to be penetrated to the families of the Hindu context.
Any other insight that you may like to share with us which could help in reaching out to the Hindus and the educated students abroad?
Yeah, here one thing I need to mention, whether it is educated or uneducated, poor or rich, whatever the background it may be, Hindu is a Hindu. Their culture is culture. Recently I went to a temple just nearby Alsur Lake in Bangalore. I was interacting with the priest. He was well educated. In fact, he was educated in the West. I am so surprised. He knows everything about the Christian faith. And he says it is a Sanatana Dharma. It is a kind of ancient culture that we possess. Whether it is educated or uneducated, they don't want to give up their own cultural way of worship. Even though a person is a IAS officer or a top level in the society, he behaves outside in the market, in the cine theater, in his office, everywhere. He may accept all the Western cultural way of life. But when it comes to his own worship time, the temple, he forgets everything.
No compromise.
No compromise. He forgets his dignity, he forgets his background, he just becomes a Hindu devotee. And then he leaves everything, and sometimes he rolls around the temple. It doesn't matter who is observing what's happening. That is their commitment to their own the culture. So here is a great challenge. Either students or professionals or whatever it may be, we need to understand their cultural baggages, cultural habits, cultural way of eating food. And especially when the students come to West, food is a major issue.
Right, as
Most of the Hindus, especially pious Hindus, whatever the caste they may belong to, the pious Hindus, they don't eat beef. Because there is a cultural connotation back in India. Because beef eaters were the low-caste untouchables back in Andhra Pradesh, in South India, and different parts of the country. So when you start eating beef, so that offends their own inner feelings. So we should help our new followers of Christ to retain their own cultural way of eating habits. We should not pressurize them to eat different foods that are abomination back in their own culture, and also way of dress, and also way of their own worship. These are some of the areas that we need to be sensitive, and we need to be more Hindu in our culture and Christ in our worship, or maybe the perception of the truth. Sometimes Christians, we have a faulty understanding about the Hindus. We always project them as Rakshasas. Rakshasa is a kind of word in the Hindu context saying that a bad people, a monster, a devil. No, Hindus are such a good people. One of the good thing in Hindus is they are pluralists. They welcome anybody. They are, since from 2001, I have been traveling across the country. Not a single Hindu objected me, provided if you relate in a way that they can respect you. Let me conclude this incident. They booked a hotel, Krishna Hotel, right next to Bidar, bus stand. Krishna Hotel, a Hindu hotel. And we designed a good pamphlet that helps Hindus to understand in a way that this is not a converting or maybe a program that is imposing Christian faith on them. The hotel was filled with students, all the Hindu students. For the first time in Bidar, our group has a good number of Hindus.
Wow.
And I gave an altar call. A lot of Hindu students, they came and accepted Christ.
Is it?
Yes. And there is no opposition at all. The hotel manager was surprised to see for the first time the hotel is filled with such a huge crowd with the students.
Well, that was really good talking to you, Mr. Potana, and we really think that this all will be very helpful in reaching out to the students in the diaspora. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.